The persistent hum of the refrigerator, a sound usually unnoticed, seemed unusually loud this morning, a stark reminder of the quiet desperation that had settled over the house. It wasn't a dramatic crisis, not a sudden catastrophe, but a slow, insidious erosion of spirit. The daily grind had become a relentless assault, each task a miniature mountain to climb, each interaction a potential trigger for exhaustion. The joy that once bubbled effortlessly had been replaced by a leaden weariness, a feeling of being perpetually behind, perpetually inadequate. The news, with its constant stream of anxieties, only amplified the sense of helplessness. The weight of responsibilities, both real and perceived, pressed down like a physical burden. Sleep offered little respite, dreams often mirroring the anxieties of waking life, leaving me feeling drained even before the day began. This wasn't about a lack of tangible resources, the pantry was full, the bills were paid. This was a deeper hunger, a yearning for something more substantial, something to anchor the soul amidst the swirling chaos. It was a longing for the unwavering faith that seemed to radiate from others, the kind of belief that could move mountains, or at least make the daily climb feel less arduous. I envied those who seemed to possess an unshakable connection to something greater, a source of strength that I desperately craved. Their lives, from my perspective, seemed imbued with a purpose and resilience that I felt was sorely lacking in my own. The well-worn routines, once comforting, now felt like shackles, binding me to a life that felt increasingly disconnected from my true self. The smiles felt forced, the conversations strained, the laughter hollow. I found myself retreating inward, seeking solace in solitude, but even that offered only temporary relief. The silence amplified the doubts and fears that gnawed at my insides, whispering insidious suggestions of inadequacy and failure. The temptation to simply give in, to surrender to the overwhelming sense of fatigue, was a constant companion. This morning, however, felt different. A sliver of hope, a fragile ember of resilience, flickered within the darkness. It wasn't a sudden burst of enlightenment, but a quiet, persistent nudge, a reminder that even in the deepest shadows, light can still penetrate. It was the memory of past trials overcome, the recollection of moments when faith had carried me through seemingly impossible situations. It was the faint whisper of a promise, a sense that I was not alone, that there was a source of strength available, if only I knew how to access it. The intention isn't to manufacture a Pollyanna-ish optimism or to deny the very real challenges that life presents. It's about cultivating a deeper, more resilient faith, a faith that can withstand the storms and emerge stronger on the other side. It's about finding the courage to face each day with a renewed sense of purpose, knowing that even in the midst of uncertainty, there is a steadfast presence that offers guidance and support. It's about tapping into the wellspring of inner strength that resides within each of us, a strength that is often obscured by the noise and distractions of modern life. It's about learning to trust in the process, to believe that even the most difficult experiences can ultimately lead to growth and transformation. This prayer isn't a magic incantation, but a heartfelt plea for guidance, a humble acknowledgement of my own limitations, and a sincere desire to connect with the divine source of all strength and faith. It's a starting point, a small step towards reclaiming the joy and purpose that have been lost along the way. The journey may be long and arduous, but with faith as my compass and prayer as my guide, I believe that I can find my way back to the light. Let's now consider the subtle art of cultivating inner stillness. It's easy to become ensnared by the whirlwind of external demands, but what about the quiet sanctuary within? Just as a gardener diligently tends to their soil, enriching it with nutrients and carefully removing weeds, so too must we nurture the landscape of our inner selves. This isn't about escaping reality, but rather creating a space where we can connect with the divine source, a place where we can find clarity and strength. To that end, imagine your mind as a pond. When the surface is agitated, filled with ripples and waves, it's impossible to see clearly to the bottom. However, as the wind dies down and the waters calm, the sediment settles, and the depths become visible. Similarly, when we quiet the mental chatter, the anxieties and distractions that cloud our thoughts, we can access a deeper level of awareness, a place where we can connect with our intuition and receive divine guidance. This practice of stillness doesn't necessitate hours of meditation, although that can be beneficial. It can be as simple as taking a few deep breaths before responding to a challenging email, or pausing for a moment of gratitude before starting a meal. Furthermore, recognizing the power of small acts of devotion can significantly fortify your faith. Think of the hummingbird, flitting from flower to flower, gathering nectar. Each visit is brief, yet the cumulative effect is profound. In like manner, brief moments of prayer or reflection, woven throughout the day, can create a tapestry of faith that strengthens your connection to the divine. It could be a silent prayer of gratitude while washing dishes, a moment of reflection on a scripture verse while waiting in line, or simply acknowledging the beauty of nature during your commute. These small acts, though seemingly insignificant, accumulate over time, reinforcing your sense of connection and purpose. In contrast to the prevalent notion that faith requires grand gestures, consider the quiet strength of a lighthouse. It stands firm against the crashing waves, its steady beam guiding ships safely through treacherous waters. It doesn't shout or demand attention, it simply shines its light, reliably and consistently. We too can embody this quiet strength, radiating faith through our actions and interactions, even in the face of adversity. This might mean offering a listening ear to a friend in need, volunteering your time to a worthy cause, or simply choosing kindness and compassion in your daily interactions. Another crucial layer is understanding that faith isn't about the absence of doubt, but rather about the courage to persevere despite it. Doubt is a natural part of the human experience, a sign that we are questioning and exploring our beliefs. The key is not to suppress doubt, but to engage with it constructively, seeking answers and deepening our understanding. Just as a tree bends in the wind but doesn't break, so too can our faith withstand the storms of doubt. Embrace the questions, explore the uncertainties, and allow your faith to evolve and deepen through the process. This active engagement with your beliefs will ultimately strengthen your connection to the divine and provide you with a more resilient foundation for navigating life's challenges. Consider also the profound impact of cultivating an attitude of gratitude. It's a simple shift in perspective, yet its transformative power is immense. Instead of focusing on what's lacking in our lives, we intentionally direct our attention to the blessings that surround us. This practice isn't about ignoring challenges, rather, it's about recognizing the good that coexists alongside the difficulties. To illustrate, picture a mosaic. Each individual tile, on its own, may seem unremarkable, perhaps even flawed. But when these tiles are carefully arranged and placed together, they form a beautiful and intricate design. Similarly, our lives are composed of both positive and negative experiences. By focusing solely on the negative, we miss the beauty and complexity of the whole picture. Practicing gratitude allows us to appreciate the richness and fullness of our lives, even in the midst of hardship. This can involve keeping a gratitude journal, expressing appreciation to loved ones, or simply taking a few moments each day to reflect on the things we are thankful for. On a related point, examine the concept of surrender. This isn't about giving up or resigning ourselves to fate. Instead, it's about relinquishing control, trusting that there is a higher power at work in our lives, and accepting that we don't always have all the answers. Just as a sailor adjusts their sails to the wind, rather than fighting against it, we can learn to navigate life's challenges with greater ease and grace by surrendering to the flow of events. This requires letting go of our need to control every outcome and trusting that even when things don't go according to plan, there is a purpose and a lesson to be learned. By the same token, understanding the significance of self-compassion is vital. We often hold ourselves to impossibly high standards, judging ourselves harshly for our mistakes and shortcomings. However, just as we would offer compassion and understanding to a friend who is struggling, we must extend the same kindness to ourselves. This involves recognizing that we are all imperfect beings, doing the best we can with what we have. It means acknowledging our pain and suffering without judgment, and treating ourselves with the same love and care that we would offer to someone we cherish. In contrast to the belief that strength lies in stoicism, consider the power of vulnerability. Allowing ourselves to be vulnerable, to share our authentic selves with others, can create deeper connections and foster a sense of belonging. It takes courage to remove the masks we wear and reveal our true selves, but the rewards are immeasurable. When we allow ourselves to be seen and accepted for who we truly are, we create space for genuine connection and support, which can significantly strengthen our faith and resilience. This act of vulnerability can be as simple as sharing a personal story with a trusted friend, or expressing our emotions openly and honestly. Let's now turn our attention to the revitalizing power of mindful action. Frequently, we move through our days on autopilot, our minds preoccupied with thoughts of the past or anxieties about the future. This leaves us disconnected from the present moment, missing the richness and beauty of our immediate surroundings. Mindful action, conversely, involves bringing our full attention to whatever task is at hand, whether it's washing dishes, walking the dog, or engaging in a conversation. To elaborate, imagine a potter shaping clay. Their hands move with intention and precision, their focus entirely on the task at hand. They are not distracted by thoughts of what they will do later, or regrets about mistakes they have made in the past. They are simply present with the clay, allowing it to guide their movements and shape their creation. Similarly, when we approach our daily activities with mindfulness, we can transform mundane tasks into opportunities for connection and growth. This deliberate focus allows us to appreciate the simple joys of life and find meaning in even the most ordinary moments. Building on this idea, contemplate the value of seeking inspiration from diverse sources. Limiting ourselves to a single perspective can stifle our growth and restrict our understanding. Just as a gardener cultivates a variety of plants to create a vibrant and diverse ecosystem, we can enrich our lives by exposing ourselves to different ideas, cultures, and perspectives. This could involve reading books from authors with different backgrounds, listening to music from various genres, or engaging in conversations with people who hold different beliefs. In a similar vein, consider the importance of setting healthy boundaries. Overextending ourselves, saying yes to every request, and neglecting our own needs can lead to burnout and resentment. Just as a farmer builds fences to protect their crops, we must establish boundaries to protect our time, energy, and emotional well-being. This involves learning to say no to requests that drain us, prioritizing our own needs, and setting limits on our availability. Setting healthy boundaries is not selfish. It is an act of self-care that allows us to maintain our well-being and show up more fully in our relationships and responsibilities. However, in contrast to the notion that spiritual growth is a solitary pursuit, acknowledge the significance of community. Connecting with others who share our values and beliefs can provide us with support, encouragement, and a sense of belonging. Just as birds flock together for safety and companionship, we can find strength and resilience in community. This could involve joining a faith-based group, volunteering for a cause we care about, or simply spending time with friends and family who uplift and inspire us. These connections provide a sense of belonging and remind us that we are not alone in our journey. Reflecting on this journey so far, we see a tapestry woven with threads of stillness, gratitude, surrender, self-compassion, mindful action, diverse inspiration, healthy boundaries, and communal support. Each thread, seemingly distinct, contributes to the overall strength and beauty of the whole. It's not about mastering any single technique, but embracing the interconnectedness of these elements, allowing them to inform and enrich one another. Envision a garden, not as a collection of individual plants vying for attention, but as a thriving ecosystem where each element plays a vital role. The earthworms aerate the soil, the bees pollinate the flowers, the sunlight nourishes the leaves, and the rain provides sustenance. Similarly, the practices explored thus far work synergistically to cultivate a fertile inner landscape, capable of weathering life's inevitable storms and blossoming with resilience and grace. The stillness allows us to hear the quiet whispers of our intuition, the gratitude helps us to appreciate the abundance that surrounds us, the surrender enables us to navigate uncertainty with greater ease, and the self-compassion allows us to heal from our wounds and learn from our mistakes. Considering these interwoven concepts, the path forward isn't about striving for perfection but embracing process. It's not about achieving a state of constant bliss but cultivating the inner resources to navigate the full spectrum of human experience. It's about recognizing that strength isn't about invulnerability but about the capacity to adapt, to learn, and to grow in the face of adversity. It's about finding the courage to show up authentically, with all our imperfections and vulnerabilities, and to trust that we are worthy of love, belonging, and connection. Drawing these strands together, we see that cultivating strength and faith is not a destination but a continuous unfolding. It's a lifelong journey of self-discovery, growth, and transformation. It's about learning to trust in the process, to embrace the uncertainties, and to find meaning and purpose in even the most challenging experiences. It's about recognizing that we are not alone on this journey, that there is a divine presence that guides and supports us every step of the way. As we pivot towards the final reflection, let's acknowledge that the tools and practices discussed are not merely theoretical concepts, but tangible resources that can be integrated into our daily lives. They are not quick fixes or magic solutions, but rather, consistent practices that, when diligently applied, can transform our inner landscape and empower us to live with greater strength, faith, and resilience. The potential for growth and transformation resides within each of us, waiting to be awakened and cultivated. The question that remains is, how will we choose to nurture this potential and allow it to blossom in our lives? The core of this journey, ultimately, lies not in the acquisition of techniques or the adherence to rigid doctrines, but in the cultivation of an enduring relationship with the divine and with oneself. It's about recognizing the sacredness inherent in every moment, the potential for growth and transformation that resides within every experience, and the unwavering presence of love and support that surrounds us always. The true strength we seek is not a shield against vulnerability, but the courage to embrace it, to allow ourselves to be seen and known, and to connect with others from a place of authenticity and compassion. The image that lingers is not of a solitary figure standing defiantly against the storm, but of a resilient tree, its roots deeply anchored in the earth, its branches reaching towards the sky, bending with the wind but never breaking. This tree embodies the power of adaptability, the strength of vulnerability, and the unwavering connection to the source of all life. It serves as a reminder that we, too, can weather the storms of life with grace and resilience, drawing strength from our inner resources and the unwavering support of our community. Perhaps the most profound insight is the realization that faith is not a static entity, but a dynamic and evolving relationship. It's not about possessing all the answers, but about embracing the questions, about trusting in the process, and about allowing ourselves to be guided by a higher power. It's about recognizing that doubt is not the enemy of faith, but a catalyst for deeper understanding and growth. It's about finding the courage to explore our beliefs, to challenge our assumptions, and to allow our faith to evolve and deepen over time. The blessed morning prayer, then, is not merely a recitation of words, but a heartfelt expression of our deepest desires, a humble acknowledgement of our limitations, and a sincere commitment to living with greater strength, faith, and resilience. It's an invitation to awaken to the sacredness of the present moment, to embrace the beauty and complexity of our lives, and to connect with the divine source of all love and wisdom. It's a reminder that we are not alone on this journey, that we are surrounded by a community of support, and that we have the power to create a life filled with meaning, purpose, and joy. The true practice begins now, not with grand pronouncements or dramatic gestures, but with the quiet, consistent commitment to cultivating the inner landscape, to nurturing the seeds of faith and strength, and to allowing the divine light to shine through us, illuminating the world around us. The journey is ongoing, the path may be winding, but the potential for growth and transformation is limitless. May we all find the courage to embrace this journey with open hearts and unwavering faith.